It's a little bit rainy outside, but we're trying to work with it. But it is 5 o'clock in the morning. We're here at the Howard County Sheriff's Department. No smoking, no food and beverages. Operating with limited service to the public, obviously for good reasons. Yeah, is there a desk sergeant or someone over the patrol division that can come out and speak to me for a minute?
Regarding?
In regards to a question I went ahead and I called in the other night about for expired plates, considering everything that's going on. And when I spoke to the dispatcher, they said they had no idea about how it's being handled or things like that. And I told them that when I was able to get some information, I would make a special trip up here. And I'm a third shifter, so this is my normal time awake and the only time I really ever get a chance to get out and get things done. So I got the information that dispatch said if I ascertained, I could go ahead and bring up here to talk to him about.
Is this actually with the city or the county?
It's going to be for both. I'm going to have to get a hold of the city as well, but it's going to be for both. But I know the dispatch for both centers is in this building, so I figure I might be able to kill two birds with one stone.
Okay, what is your name?
Alan.
And this is about license plates?
Correct. About the expired license plates with the pandemic going on.
How does this pertain to both city and county?
Well, I'm the director of a nonprofit that does emergency roadside assistance, the Guardian Angel Assistance Team. And on a couple of our vehicles, the plates expired on the 21st. And it makes it a little difficult for us to do our job if we can't get out and actually do our job in the vehicles that are designed for it. So we went ahead, and there was a few nights ago, I went ahead and talked to a KPD officer, and he said he didn't know how they were handling it considering the pandemic issue going on, and the BMV being closed, and also financial hardships and everything. So when I called dispatch to get some information on it, it was actually on the 21st that I called dispatch, and they said they didn't even know how it was being handled because of all that. And I told them that as soon as I got some information, I would come up here and speak to a sergeant or someone who was over the patrol division to be able to get him the actual documentation in regards to it. That way they would have a little bit of an idea. Dispatch said that would be perfectly fine. It'd be great for us to do so, and we were encouraged to do so.
Okay, right now no one is here over the patrol, but there is dispatch, so give me a minute.
Okay, I'll be out here waiting. Normally I wouldn't give my last name out the gate like that, but or my affiliation, but considering the situation, I felt it'd be okay. you guys who are want to do visits. There's the information. We're still waiting, but there's some information up there on the wall. I was really hoping to get a better shot of, but definitely a program and phone number we all need to have handy, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or the NAMI. Helpline is 765-864-0827. Absolutely wonderful program here in Howard County. Definitely needs to be addressed. We also have the phone number for the Center of Exploited Children. Unfortunately, that print is way too small for me to be able to even zoom in on. Crime Stoppers poster up there on the wall. And we're still waiting for dispatch. And here comes the dispatcher. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Dispatch?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the one I usually talk to. I'm Alan, the Guardian Angel. I'm usually the one that calls in whenever we have problems, and we let you guys know about it. So I called in on the 21st. It was early morning, not too long after midnight, when they had that accident over on Jefferson, Ohio. And we provided security for the officers and the tow truck on scene. Mm-hmm. I called in and said, okay, well, I just noticed our plates are expiring on the 21st. But with the financial crisis, everything going on because of the COVID-19, I asked how they was exactly handling it on the county and the city level. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe it was you, but whoever I spoke to that night said that they had no idea. So, yeah, they said they didn't know how it was going to be handled if we were using our vehicles that are still for Guardian use, still have our light bars, says emergency roadside on the back, but the plates are expired. Mm-hmm. So they said that they had no idea how it was going to be used, and if I had any information or if I could get any documentation, because they had nothing knowledge base wise.
Are you just wanting something to carry with you so that you don't get
I went ahead. Well, that as well would be great, but I was able to look up through the governor's website like they asked, and it said obviously the executive order they're suspending the extension of the expiration dates.
Yeah.
When I called, dispatch had no knowledge.
Well, I mean, I don't think it is common knowledge. It's not something that we all, maybe not every dispatcher is aware of.
Right.
It's true. You're not, I mean, anywhere in Kokomo, Howard County, you get stopped for expired plates in the last 2 months.
It should be anywhere in Indiana, right?
Or in Indiana, yeah.
Yeah. Considering that we do have the nonprofit and we are always out on the road, mm-hmm. I want to make sure if there's anything that I can be able to get in writing from the Sheriff's Department to validate that, because I'm not always going to have this phone handy. Sometimes I have this one, sometimes I have this one, sometimes I have my tablet.
As long as you verbalize, the officers know that that's what's going on.
Okay, because I wanted to make sure that there was no chance that it'd be a reason that, because there are some cops in other counties that I've dealt with personally, like it was yesterday in Lafayette. I ended up having to deal with Purdue police because vehicle came running up on me super quick. I was like, okay, is this somebody who's not paying attention? So I hit my lights and like, hey, hello, I'm here. Don't hit me.
Right.
Found out it was a Purdue police and his lights trumped mine. And he's like, okay, well, I'm wondering why you went ahead and lit me up. That's why I lit you up. I'm like, well, this is why. But, you have officers that are going to be like that. You have officers that are going to be cordial. Dispatchers like yourself, it's cordial. And by the way, I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. I'm Alan.
Alan, I'm Megan.
You're Megan. Okay. Yeah, you've answered the phone quite a few times when we've called.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I remember it's either you or Lynn that likes to answer when we
Yeah.
call.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just dealing with situations like that, we don't want to run into that one cop that chooses to be a dick, for lack of a better word, that still tries to go ahead and use that as a reason to initiate a traffic stop.
Hey, if there's anything going on in this traffic stop that has to do with your license plates because they're expired, you don't have a problem.
Right.
If there is a problem, it's not that one.
Right. Well, I just want to make sure that they can't try to use that as an initial reason for stop and then go on a witch hunt. Because there are a lot of officers that do appreciate what we do, especially when we are providing scene security for them as well as the 51s to make sure that their area is clear. We'll block off an intersection if there's no other units available. They had 3 units on scene that night. 2 were on the west or the east side of the incident. Only 1 was on the east side, and he was about 40 yards away from the intersection. That's quite a bit of distance from the stop sign intersection on down, especially when you have, obstructions on the corner like houses, things like that. They're not always going to see him. That's why we stay far enough back at the intersection to make sure that we can still provide what security we can.
Yeah.
And that officer that was on my side, he wasn't too appreciative. He very greatly expressly vocalized that he wasn't appreciative. But the other 2 just waved at me like it was no big deal. Because there are officers, especially the tow truck drivers, love what we do. As far as scene security. Not so much that we're taking their word, but scene security.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure I don't want to run into that one cop.
Well, I mean, that is going to be enough. The governor's
The executive order?
executive order, yeah. For the license plates, anything to do with the BMV and being down, so licenses, license plates, stuff like that, it'll be fine.
Okay. But I did tell the dispatcher that
unfortunately-
night that when I did get information concrete, I would come in and share it with dispatch or to a patrol sergeant or something to that extent. That way they could say, okay, well, we have seated. We know now what the protocol is. We're not going to pull you over. We're not going to mess with you.
I don't have a piece of paper or anything to give you.
It's okay. This tells all.
Yeah, I don't have anything to give you as far as that, because as far as like what the government's ordering, like for example the socialization.
Right, which is
rules.
well, I'm still keeping distance for you.
Right.
Although I
that's-
know I'm clean. I'm a door dasher as well. So we
that's still not
constantly
something
have to.
we can enforce. We tell people if they want to call and complain about parties or something, we give them a different phone number to call. So as far as the whole governor's orders go right now, there's nothing in writing that we can give to people or anything like that.
Now, the one big question I have as far as that's concerned is that, like, I know they said they're trying to go ahead and open things up on May 1st. But is that like the deadline of when the orders expire, or is it just until he says, okay, I'm done?
I don't know.
Because that's one thing that I've looked on his website and it's nothing on there.
I know that for Indiana, as far as the businesses goes, like gyms and recreational stuff, they are supposed to open on May 1st. So I don't know if that
Supposed
means the B&B's gonna, right, if the B&B's gonna open too, I don't know.
Well, that and how long of an easement are we going to have even after things open up? Because, I mean,
I don't know.
like myself, as well as several others, even the 501c3s like we are, we're supposed to be able to get some type of financial support as well because of this. We
Right.
haven't received our financial support for the nonprofit. I haven't even got the stimulus check. I haven't even got my tax check.
Oh, man. That's
So,
good.
agreed that ain't good.
Yeah.
But if the thing is, though, I know they're also talking about issuing a second round of checks. If I haven't even got my first one yet, which is the first one's dedicated to pay for the plates for our program vehicles, how much of an easement do we have from the minute that's lifted
I can't
until we
tell
go? That's one thing that I think that does need to get brought up. Whether it be through our local commissioners or something to that extent, how long are they willing to go ahead and give us?
I
Or
think
can
that's
they
gonna
put
be
something up to the
kind of
governor?
discretion type of thing with the officers. I doubt that anybody is going to be like, well, it's May 2nd and your plates are expired. I 99.9% guarantee they're not going to give you a citation.
Okay.
I can't, unfortunately, I can't.
You can't give
I
100%,
can't-
but
yeah, I can't give you 100% and I can't give you anything in writing, but that's my personal opinion.
okay.
So-
And hey, you're the dispatcher, so that does mean a lot.
Oh,
So, and I do want to thank you for coming out and seeing me. This was a dual purpose visit. First off, I did want to go ahead and make sure I brought that up as I promised the dispatch team I would. Second off, your gentleman on the phone, extremely polite, extremely cordial. You absolutely freaking cordial, very professional. This is also a First Amendment audit because having the camera, public plays, I've had them all the windows. No one has come back on the intercom telling me to stop. You never told me to stop, even after I told you it was, pointed and said, obviously it's in my hand aimed at you. And y'all actually did a great job, and I appreciate that.
Well, I
So-
tried to answer as best as I could.
Well, and I greatly appreciate that. And these do go up on on Facebook and on YouTube. So you actually did the County Sheriff's Department rather proud for the dispatch team.
Oh,
So I thank you.
thank you.
So you have a wonderful night. Just so you guys know, and you can let your officers know whatever, I am going to end up taking the car to the house, probably get the truck here soon. But we are still out on patrol. We have been sitting over at KPD in the parking lot because I don't want to sit just in a random private parking lot. Even though I know we can, the mall is Simon property, but even though it's the public access, I'm not going to go through the semantics of that. So I usually sit around KPD because it's downtown, centralized from where we end up getting our sporadic calls. Yesterday, one of the sergeants came out and was like, why are you here? Oh, it's you. And then he recognized me. So, that's all cool, but we are going to be out on patrol. So if we do by chance run across the scene, it might be, a dual purpose, just like this visit was for both this and to help with security, or we never know.
Okay.
But that way in advance. And I want to thank you very much. I know no handshakes, but elbows. There you go. Take care. Have a good night.
Yep.
You got to get Buzz back in. That's bad.
I do.
All right, and there we have it. Governor Holcomb's info has been submitted, as I was told to go ahead and do. Our dispatcher, she's been very polite, very cordial. She did a wonderful job. And I would say this is a successful audit. Let's get back in the car and decide if I want to go get the truck or what, but this car honestly burns a little less gas. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Once again, Howard County Criminal Justice Center. Wonderful job. That's a pass.